Let's talk about my schizophrenic and borderline journals. This is a subject I have brought up very rarely between my Let's Talk videos. I have journals that I have written in usually whenever I'm in an episode. I had 2 more before these 2 that I ended up destroying at one point in my life because I felt like if I destroyed them that maybe the bad things in my life would just go away. Before I get to these, however, I want to explain something. Back in the past, when I first started dating Zach and a little bit prior, I had a closet where, the normal sliding door type of closet, and in the closet there was a dresser. Now the dresser was like right here, and here was the wall, right next to the dresser. And if you squeeze in between that, which normally a normal human couldn't, you can get to a little square area, like maybe 1 foot wide and 2 feet long of an area of empty space. And I used to crawl in between there whenever I had a major episode with the voices or borderline, etc. And whenever the voices would start screaming and yelling, I used to write the things that they said on the wall. And the wall became covered with words and everything like that. So I used to have a room or a closet like that. And the reason why I'm explaining this is because that's where I always hid. That's where I went, where I stayed. I always preferred the closed-off places compared to the open places during an episode. Now, I've since moved from that house, and I've had to paint over the words and everything like that. So, let's get to the journals. I can't show you all the pages of this journal because some of them are covered in blood. From times where I was severely suicidal and the voices really got to me and I would cut. I'll admit. I don't do that anymore, but back then when I couldn't control it and I've had a feeling that I was all alone in it all, I did get to that state, and I did allow myself to bleed all over the journals. Why? It's because when you're in that state of mind, you're not so much thinking at all, ever. So I'm only going to show you the pages that don't coincide with the blood. So this is my old one. This one's completely filled. As you can tell, there's a lot of different things. Pages are thick from writing and everything like that. So I'm not going to read you any of this stuff, but this one goes all the way back to 2013, the beginning of that year. And you can tell it's all scribbled on, and I scribbled whenever I heard the voices. I didn't write down some of the things that they said back then. I used to just scribble it all out, and it just went on and on. And there are a few things in here that I did write that my voices did end up saying. So this is basically, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is so you have an idea what's going on in their brain, what creative things might happen when an episode is occurring, because there are pictures of, you can see at old hospital wards of what schizophrenics used to draw during their episodes or write. And you don't see a lot of them, but I figured I'll show you some of my weirdness. I mean, during an episode, you're not so much there. You're elsewhere. And when you hear voices, it can be scary. You don't have control over yourself, and you become overwhelmed with everything. And it's like, as you can tell right here, this is me starting to write out what they say. So I don't know if you can even read that, honestly. I don't really want you guys reading it, but whatever. But when I started scribbling like that, where it's like chicken scratched almost, that's when the voices started coming in. I started writing down things that they would say, like, no one cares, no one listens, time is ticking, and you will die, no peace, he will leave, he will never see. You are weak, you want to harm something, do it, kill it, do it. So they are very commanding, they're very negative, as I've explained in my voices video. And that's common for schizophrenics, where they're very commanding, very demanding. Doesn't mean that a person will be pushed to doing the things that they say. That's never the case. No, that's not always the case. I can't say it's never a case. But I don't feel inclined to do what they say, unless if it's to kill yourself. And then that I feel more pressured into doing that than to hurt someone. It says right here, you are nothing, you do nothing. Yeah. Whatever marker or pencil I have or pen I have at the time is what I use to scribble down, whatever's closest to me. There's some pages that are not scribbled on. It just happened to be where I wrote the things down instead of scribbling that time. Sometimes that happens. It goes throughout almost this entire book. But I was a lot more controlled back then than I am now. I still have the severity of it all. I'm still getting worse every single day while I'm not getting help. But I have a lot less stress as I did back then, so I didn't corner myself into a closet. I'm more trying to figure out how to stop the episodes from occurring than to allow them to occur and get their way. Which sometimes you don't have a chance. Like in this right here, all this is all the voices, and all they did was repeat abuser. And they repeated, and I just kept following what they were saying. Because with borderline, I feel like I'm an abuser in some way, because when I get angry, I can't control the things that I say, and I say some really mean things, and I don't want to say those things, but they just come out, and afterwards I'm questioning why I said it. How did it come out of my mouth when I didn't want it to come out? It was bad. They wrote that right here. Now this is in the beginning when me and Zach first started dating, and he did not know how to handle my schizophrenia or my borderline. And hopefully you guys can see me right now. I hope I'm not blurry. So he often didn't know how to handle my borderline or my schizophrenia. So oftentimes back then, yes, he said and did things that he really shouldn't have done during episodes that made them a lot more worse than he does now. It left marks, as you can tell. Like I said, I had 2 journals before these ones, filled with the same stuff. And these are all during episodes. Anything that looks like this for me, we're doing episodes. No one understands, all alone, all alone, all alone. A lot of these I don't feel when I'm not having episodes. Yeah, I feel them when I'm having episodes, when I hear the voices, when they start screaming, when I start seeing things. That's when it starts becoming a reality for me that I have these issues. Because when I don't have them for a time period, say if I don't have it for like 2 weeks because my stress is very low and everything is at a calm for a while, and I am able to breathe, and my brain is just kind of settled for the time period, I question myself, do I have these disorders? Is it really happening? And guess what? That's part of being paranoid. That's part of being delusional. And then it happens, and I start hearing them again, and I start seeing them again, and then I realize, oh yeah, this is a thing. This is really happening. Because you want to believe for that settled moment where everything is calm, that everything is calm and you got fixed. But in reality, it's not fixed, and it will never be fixed. It's not something you can fix. It's something you're stuck with for life. Even on medication, you can still have episodes. You can still relapse, and you can still go back to it, but you get different dosages and everything like that. Here's one of them from my old ones, so you have an idea, and you can tell it's a different journal because of the different papers. But these are from my old ones, and these bigger lettering like this, that's what the voices would say. Deserve, pain, lazy, always the same, bitcher, no one, nowhere. Some of the words I can't read. Oh, prove you deserve your dreams. You don't deserve anything, you won't do anything. It's just, it continues, and they were bad. I mean, looking back at these, a lot of people would think, why are you doing this? I mean, it's traumatic, what you're going through and putting yourself through. I actually go back to these so I can remember what I fought through. I don't go back and try to remember my bad past or my bad voices. I go back wondering why my cats are messing with my computer. I go back and remind myself that I fought through these things, that I got through them. I'm a fighter. This is the one that's not done. So these ones are a lot less scribbled because this is back in 2017 when I stopped writing so much and kind of focused on like screaming instead. When my borderline started getting worse and worse. So instead of scribbling, I was just screaming at the top of my lungs and yelling, and I locked myself in my closet and I tried fighting it that way. And so, like I was saying, instead of focusing on like scribbling when I was hearing them, instead I focused on writing and drawing and yelling my feelings out. And I also started writing quotes that Zach would say to me during my episodes to remind myself that, not remind myself, but remind him that sometimes when I'm having an episode, he does say things that are hurtful to me, although I can't control it. And I don't use them really against him. I just remind him, hey, you did say this. Is this true? Am I really like this? Because I would like to change myself for the better no matter what, even during my episodes, because having these episodes is terrible. You want to be a better person, but they don't let you be a better person. They let you feel like an utter disastrous monster that deserves nothing, that abuses and hurts everyone you love, and it's mostly just borderline that makes me feel that way. My schizophrenia just makes me hear and see things. And from hearing and seeing the things that I get from my schizophrenia, my borderline uses to its advantage and tries to destroy the world around me. I don't want to feel that way when it happens, but unfortunately, until I can afford to see a psychologist, it's what I'm stuck with. It's hard to, get over the fact that happens to you, that you can't control it, that everything you do is controlled by something in your brain that can literally turn you off whenever it wants to. And it's scary. And that's literally almost practically all. So I hope I showed you guys some things to help you guys to reflect on the mind of a schizophrenic and what's going through their heads and what they're seeing and all that jazz. I didn't know what to say while showing you this, so I kind of started blabbing about my episodes. Hopefully I didn't repeat myself, because during that entire time I wasn't thinking what I was saying. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I opened your mind to what's going on with a schizophrenic or a borderline person during an episode with the things I just showed you. It's scary. I try to let it out best as I can with drawing and that stuff, because I want to remind myself that this is real, that what I'm going through is a real thing, and I'm fighting it as best as I can. So, if you'd like to see more videos like this, keep watching, like, comment, and subscribe.